on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, a property of Learfield Sports.
Touchdown, Alabama!
Live from Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, this is Hey Coach, presented by Alpha. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Hey Coach is brought to you by Golden Flake, the official chip of the Crimson Tide. Your Alabama Ford dealers. Alabama Saturdays, built Ford tough. Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. And by Coke Zero, real Coke taste, 0 calories. Here is your host, Tom Roberts.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and roll tide. We got a bunch of big Bama fans here tonight at Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, ready to help our football team rebound. Our 7th-ranked Crimson Tide headed to Arkansas tomorrow to take on the Razorbacks Saturday evening. Coach Nick Saban is going to join us in about 30 minutes from now to talk about that game, as well as that really tough loss at Ole Miss last Saturday. If you're sitting at home and want to ask the coach a question, give us a call at 877-202-BAMA. If you're here at Bob's Victory Grill, Jessica Weiger will be roaming around with a microphone. She's standing in the back waving. She'll be right here at the corner of the bar. Get with her and be glad to get you on the air. We've got a University Mall gift card, a brand new banner that we'll talk a little bit about later on in the show. So if you got a question, just come on by. We'll get you on the air. Bama soccer right now playing at LSU, a Thursday night game, nationally televised by the SEC Network. Unfortunately, LSU leading the Tide 1-0. 21 minutes to go in the first half of that one. We'll keep you posted throughout the show. Bama volleyball is in College Station, Texas, practicing to play the A&M Aggies tomorrow night. We'll hear from head coach Ed Allen in just a few minutes, an interview he taped earlier in the week. The Tide will come home to play South Carolina Sunday afternoon at 3. That one's going to be on the SEC Network as well. And our basketball teams. The men started last Saturday, the women on Sunday, getting ready for a new season and for something brand new, hoops on the quad. That's going to be happening next Saturday before the Texas A&M game at 11 o'clock in the morning. And Deputy Athletics Director Shane Lyons will join us in a few minutes with all the details of that. We have a media guest tonight whose voice is very familiar to all of us since he is the voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold. So we got a lot to do. Yeah, give the man a cheer. Eli will be joining us in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk Bama soccer and volleyball coming up next. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Do game day right. With LG, it's all possible. LG home appliances are right in step with your busy world. The largest capacity washer in its class saves you up to 20 minutes per load, even on larger loads. LG's door-and-door refrigerators offer instant access to gotta-have snacks. And with LG Easy Clean, you've got a sparkling oven in minutes. Come check out the latest in LG innovations at your local Best Buy or online at bestbuy.com/LG.
Hey Tide fans, when you're getting ready for this week's game, stock up on Golden Flake. Pick up your favorite bag of Golden Flake potato chips, Tostados, or cheese puffs, and you'll be ready to tailgate like a true Tide fan. Golden Flake, the favorite chip of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The best choice you can make is a big bag of Golden Flake.
Once in a while, a player comes along and completely changes the game.
Unbelievable catch!
It's no different when it comes to a car. A car that doesn't just change the game, but dominates it. The unrivaled 2015 Toyota Camry. Now get 0% APR for 36 months on a new 2015 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places. Offer valid October 1st through November 3rd, 2014. Zero down with approved credit. Monthly payment for $31,000. Finance is $27.78. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and other fees. Cannot combine with other offers.
The Tide will be rolling soon, but if you haven't gotten your Bama Banking Visa check card, you're not really ready for kickoff. Bama Banking, exclusively from BBVA Compass, is the perfect way to show your pride in the Tide. Call 1-800-COMPASS or go online at bbvacompass.com/Bama. Bama builds champions. At BBVA Compass, you can be a champion too by sporting one of our limited edition Bama Banking check cards. Sign up for Bama Banking and show your pride every time you use your check card. Call 1-800-COMPASS or go online at bbvacompass.com/Bama. Before you get in, get going, get gone, you need to get a tire that gets you. We suggest a Cooper tire. After all, Cooper engineers its tires not just for performance, but real-life performance. Because life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. Buy 4 qualifying Cooper tires and get up to a $70 prepaid card by mail. Visit a participating Cooper tire retailer or CooperTireRebates.com for reward forms and official terms and conditions.
Welcome back to Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. For the best Bama fans in town, come to Bob's Victory Grill. Let's talk about Alabama volleyball. Crimson Tide had a tough weekend on the road, lost to ranked Kentucky last Friday night, but came back to win at Tennessee on Sunday. And you know it's always a nice thing to win at the University of Tennessee. Now the Tide's on the road, as we said, to play at Texas A&M tomorrow night. And Ed Allen, earlier this week, had a chance to sit down and talk about his team with Tide TV's Christopher England.
Coach, last week you split a pair of road matches, falling to the 13th-ranked Kentucky on Friday before bouncing back Sunday at Tennessee. First of all, let's start with Kentucky. It was a tough loss, but I'm sure there were probably some positives you could take away from that match.
No question. I mean, a Kentucky team that's getting better every week and a solid team I think is going to represent the SEC very well as we move through the season and even approach December. And so we were pretty excited with our performance, there. Could have played better in a couple of different facets. The serve-pass game could have been stronger than what it was. And then at times defensively, I think could have cranked things up another notch. But real pleased with Kat Hudson's performance in that match. And Natalie Murrison really grew up a little bit as a libero there and had a chance to see what I believe to be one of the best liberos in the league get a chance to operate there at Kentucky.
Well, Coach, you bounced back in a big way on Sunday as you came back to defeat the Lady Vols on the road. After the loss Friday, what improvements did you see from your team from Friday night to that win on Sunday against Tennessee?
I'm not sure that I saw many improvements. I think we're just dealing with two different quality of teams. A Tennessee team that is much improved off of last year, but is in the process of building still as well. And so, again, another solid performance from Kat Hudson. We were really pleased with her in both of those matches this weekend. Sierra doing a nice job of directing our offense and settling into that position. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Natalie's improvements in that libero position is really starting to grow.
Coach, as you talked about with Natalie, freshman Natalie Murrison put up her 2 highest dig totals of the season last weekend. She's been the starting libero for most of the year, and it seems like her defensive play continues to improve every week. With defense being such a focus in the offseason, it must be great to see her embrace that role right now. Yeah,
no question. I mean, we've clearly gotten better from a blocking perspective and are still trying to grow there, but to see the backcourt begin to catch up there, it's just going to speak volumes to where we hope to be defensively in December.
Coach, you'll get another shot at a ranked team this Friday, headed to College Station to face the 21st ranked Texas A&M Aggies. The Aggies have already been playing against a lot of experienced teams already this season. So what challenges do you think will playing a team like that on the road?
Well, I think, first of all, it's an exciting atmosphere that they create there in College Station, which will be great for our kids to play in. And again, another ranked opponent on the road in consecutive weekends, which will be a tremendous growing experience for our players. And a team just like Kentucky, they're going to force you to earn points, generate points. They're not going to give you a bunch.
Well, Coach, after traveling to Texas A&M on Friday, you return home on Sunday to host South Carolina at 3 p.m., which will be broadcasted live on the SEC Network. The last time you were here at home, you set an attendance record, so I'm sure you would love to build on that and have a great atmosphere for the SEC Network game there on Sunday.
No question, Chris, and I think, a potential great match as well. I mean, South Carolina is probably the most improved team in the league this year, and coming in, I think, at 3-1, and not playing a match this week until they play us on Sunday, so that certainly should create a slight advantage for them as well.
Well, Coach, at this point in the season, you're tied with the most wins in the SEC with Ole Miss at 15. How do you feel about your team's progress at this point in the season?
Oh, I mean, we're excited about the quality of those wins. I mean, how they've matched up. Our RPI came out this week at 36, which is probably maybe one of the highest RPIs that we've ever had here, if not the highest. And so we're excited about where this team's going over the course of the next 2 months.
Again, Coach, you host you travel to Texas A&M on Friday. That match is at 6 p.m. and you can watch that on SEC Network Plus. And then you return home on Sunday at 3 o'clock. That will be carried live on the SEC Network. So it should be a great weekend of Alabama volleyball.
Should be, Chris.
And our best wishes to Ed Allen and Crimson Tide volleyball on the road at A&M. And as Christopher said, Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock at Foster Auditorium, Crimson Tide will entertain the Gamecocks from the University of South Carolina. Bama fans, download the official Alabama Game Day app and get every digital football game day program free. It's easy. Just search for Alabama Game Day from your app store and update it for each game. Download now the official Alabama Game Day app presented by Adobe DPS, your best way to mobilize the Tide. We're going to talk hoops on the quad with Shane Lyons coming up next. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
To a single ember from a wildfire, the branches hanging over your roof look like big matchsticks, and the dry leaves and twigs in your gutter are perfect kindling. Some fire hazards aren't clearly marked and can impact your neighbors. Learn to spot them. Your home is better protected from wildfire when your whole community is prepared. Visit fireadapted.org for tips to get started. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plato and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey, the dreaded splash fight. It's Dad O'Clock, and it's the best time of the day because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. The Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. And the cheers are for Shane Lyons, who's joined us on the stage, but the cheers should be for the Alabama soccer team, which just tied up its match. Merrill Van Dongen scoring. It's a 1-1 tie down at LSU. 12 and a half minutes to go in the first half. The Deputy Director of Athletics, Shane Lyons, on stage with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm doing wonderful, and I love to hear this news about hoops on the quad. It's coming up a week from Saturday before the Texas A&M game. Tell me about what's going to happen out on the quad.
Well, we've been talking about this, Tom, for about a year now, and what we want to do is bring the preseason basketball event to the quad, to the fans that's already out on the quad. So what we're going to do is Colonnade Group out of Birmingham is using the platform that they use for the Final Four. It's about a 36, close to a 36-inch platform, building the court on top of that so all the fans can stand around and see the team out there. It'll be the full 94-foot court.
Wow.
So it'll be quite a spectacle.
Where on the quad exactly?
If you're looking at Denny Chimes, it'll be to just the left, to the right of Denny Chimes.
Okay.
You won't be able to miss it. There'll be a lot of space out there.
I can imagine if you're going to have a 94-foot basketball court, you ought to be able to see it. And it's going to be both men and women?
Both men and women. We decided we wanted to bring both programs or bring some notoriety to them. So both of them will be out there with the team introduction, so you get to know some of the new players on the squad, and obviously reintroduce them, the returning players on the squad as well.
For the men, will they have a scrimmage?
They're going to scrimmage a little bit. There's going to be skills competitions. There'll be 3-point competitions. There'll be fan interaction opportunities for fans to shoot half-court shots and potentially win big prizes. So it's completely fun, interactive. It's not your typical practice. We want it to be exciting for the fans. Of course, during warm-ups, different things like that, there'll be a lot of different variety of things that the players will do. It'll be exciting for the fans for sure.
Hoops on the Quad presented by Alabama Power. And I got to believe that Anthony Grant and Christy Curry are just tickled to death by the opportunity to show off in front of that many fans.
No, it's a great opportunity. And again, as we've talked about, we wanted to do something special for the fans, to take something unique. And obviously basketball is normally played inside, and we've seen a lot of different things around the country. And we're like, why not take something to the Quad? There's thousands and thousands of people out there on game day, so let's take the event to them. And we're praying for good weather. That's the only thing we're holding out for.
You obviously want good weather. And the other thing about this, it's free of charge.
Absolutely.
It's, come on by, anybody and everybody. I hope we have a huge crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the band. It'll be the cheerleaders, the dance squad. We need the fans out there supporting, so come on over for sure.
As we head toward a basketball season, I'm really excited about what could happen for both men and women. Have you been able to see any of the Anthony Grant's practices so far?
I have. It was early in the season when they're more or less conditioned at that time, but I've been over there once or twice, and the guys are excited. We have a couple of players that had to sit out last year because of transfers. That's really great players. So we're excited for them, absolutely.
And then over at Foster Auditorium, Christy Curry has returned Bama women's basketball to being a competitive team. I hope this is the year maybe she can begin to win a bunch of games in the SEC.
Absolutely. When we hired Christy, she was the right person for that job, has built programs. I think you'll see her program getting stronger and stronger each year. The type of athletes she's recruiting at this time is phenomenal, and we're really excited what she can do for that program.
Well, the other thing that both Grant and Curry have done, toughen up the schedule. There's some great home games coming up this year.
There's some great ones. I mean, you're talking women's basketball, bringing Duke in here. It's traditionally a top 5 team. Nebraska is a non-conference game on the men's side. We have UCLA is probably the biggest name coming in here. Obviously for fans, Southern Miss coming in November. So, yeah, we have some exciting games for sure in non-conference.
And I'm sure our friends in marketing would like for us to say you can go online and order your season tickets, rolltide.com. Give them a call at the ticket office, 348-BAMA. I'd love to see us get a bunch of new folks involved as fans this year because it's still the most excitement you can find on this campus.
Yeah, it is. And, I think Anthony Grant and Christy Curry is building programs that our fans will be enjoyable to get behind and root for them and hope for victories in there.
Makes it easy for a guy who's kind of overseeing a lot of the athletic department to put a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
Well, by the way, are you coming to be in the broadcast booth with us at Arkansas?
As you know, I come at select times. I'm not there. I wish I'd stayed there in the fourth quarter last week.
I wish you had too.
So I will be there, hopefully not very much. We hope you don't need me up there.
Hopefully we won't. Well, Shane, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Fayetteville.
Absolutely. Roll Tide.
Shane Lyons, Deputy Director of Athletics, and Hoops on the Quad next Saturday, 11 o'clock, as the name implies, on the Quad before the Alabama-Texas A&M game. Now, we're going to talk about our performances of the week and update you on NFL players in a moment. Pays to be a Crimson Tide fan with Best Western of Alabama. Whether you're traveling for work or play, get up to 20% off rates and a chance to win a $100 travel card this fall. Visit bestwesternalabama.com/rolltide. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Excuse me, sir. What's the best day of your life?
My wedding day.
Where would you rank going to the November 29th Alabama-Auburn game?
Whoa, are you serious?
Yeah, you and a guest would get 2 game tickets, VIP hospitality, pre-game sideline passes, and more, courtesy of your local Ford dealer.
Best day ever!
Just go to alabamasaturdays.com and enter the Rammer Jammer fan experience.
Oh, I hope my wife wasn't listening.
Must be 18 years or older with a valid Alabama driver's license to enter. For details and complete rules, visit alabamasaturdays.com.
Hey, Alabama fans. Make every day feel like game day with the University of Alabama Visa check card from Regions. Regions helps you move life forward with checking account features like online banking with bill pay, mobile banking with Regions Mobile Deposit, and cashback rewards. Regions is a proud sponsor of your Alabama Crimson Tide and is the official bank of the SEC. Visit Regions.com/GoBama for more information or go to any Regions bank to order your University of Alabama check card today. Regions, member FDIC. Terms, conditions, and fees may apply.
Ready for this week's game? We're talking the rumbling roar of Big Al and another epic Roll Tide. But we're also talking great pizza. As a proud sponsor of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Red Baron Pizza is kicking off your game day at tailgateatyourplace.com. Score big with awesome party ideas, winning recipes, and impressive school trivia. Plus, a chance to win over $150,000 in prizes. Red Baron, Roll Tide.
Looking for the ultimate tire for your performance luxury touring vehicle? Look no further than the new Ventus S1 Noble 2 from Hankook Tire. Packed with the latest design and compounding elements focused on maximizing efficient water evacuation, providing impressive wet handling and braking, increasing cornering grip, and improving winter condition traction. The Ventus S1 Noble 2 is the ideal balance of all-season and ultra-high performance. To see more of the Ventus S1 Noble 2, visit Tires Plus in Huntsville. Be one with it. Hankook Tires.
Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Hey, buddy! You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go.
Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Cold hard fact. When it comes to Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, remember, 21 means 21. Coors Light reminds you, with great beer comes great responsibility.
You're back on Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, and it's time to look at our Cooper Tire Performance of the Week, presented by Cooper Tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. Visit CooperTire.com to find your local Cooper Tires dealer. The coaching staff at the university decided there were 6 players of the week for their performances against the Ole Miss Rebels. T.J. Yeldon, his 13th career 100-yard rushing game, finished with 123 on 20 carries. Cam Robinson, a true freshman at left tackle, had his best game to date. Did not allow a sack or a pressure, didn't call for any penalties. The defense limited Ole Miss to 323 total yards. Xavier Dixon credited with 6 tackles and a pair of sacks. Reggie Ragland second on the team with 9 total stops, including 1.5 for loss. And then on special teams, the coaches went with Ashawn Robinson, who blocked an extra point in the 4th quarter, and with J.K. Scott. He has a cannon for a leg, averaged 52 yards a punt on 6 attempts. So those are your Cooper Tire performances of the week. Now, let's check in with the Crimson Tide Tailgate Tradition, brought to you by Red Baron Pizza, and a good weekend for Bama players in the NFL. Let's talk about Eddie Lacy. Green Bay Packers beat the Vikings 42-10. Lacy over the century mark for the first time this season, 2 second-half touchdowns in that. Then Sunday afternoon, C.J. Mosley led his Baltimore Ravens 15 total tackles, had the first interception of his NFL career. He's racked up 49 total tackles through the first 5 games. That's 6th overall in the NFL. Marcel Darius helped the Buffalo Bills up their record to 3-2. He had 5 solo tackles, a forced fumble, and a career-high 3 sacks as the Bills came away with a victory. And then other notable performances. It seems like every week Julio Jones has a great one. He's leading the league right now for the Falcons in receptions and receiving yards. And then Roman Harper helped the Carolina Panthers to a victory with his 2nd interception of the season. This Crimson Tide Tailgate Tradition has been brought to you by Red Baron Pizza. Visit tailgateatyourplace.com for great game day ideas and enter for a chance to win $150,000 in prizes from Red Baron. We're going to talk with the voice of a Tide next. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Hey, Alabama fans, Academy Sports and Outdoors is the place to go when you need the gear to support your team. Academy is your one-stop shop for Crimson Tide jerseys, t-shirts, caps, novelty items, and more at everyday low prices. Be sure to visit your local Academy store or academy.com to stock up on Crimson Tide gear for the season. Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sponsor of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The right stuff, the low price, every day. Academy.
Toyota Materials Handling of Alabama is the authorized dealer for Toyota forklifts, the world's #1 forklift manufacturer right here in the USA. Toyota Materials Handling has short and long-term rentals available ranging from 3 to 36,000 pounds, and they provide parts and service for any model forklift. Ask Toyota Materials Handling about their no hidden fees guarantee and service loaner program. Call Toyota Materials Handling of Alabama today and speak with their consultants. Call toll-free 866-957-2250 or go online to toyotamaterials.com.
Nothing means it's game day like ice cold Coke Zero, because zero means it's game day.
What about when...
No.
But you don't even know what I was going to say.
Were you going to say zero means it's game day, so therefore nothing means it's game day like Coke Zero?
No, but...
Then it doesn't matter, does it? The refreshing taste of Coke Zero. Zero means it's game day.
Hey, this is Coach Nick Saban. Like you, Coke Zero is a proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. So when you're enjoying the game this season, feel free to crack open a Coke Zero and enjoy that too. Roll Tide.
As your athlete insurance agent, I can help you customize a plan that'll save you money while still protecting your family.
Saving $10, $15, $20 a month makes a big difference for families.
We're able to give you a better product for a better price with better service.
I try to give the customers the kind of service that I want myself.
And that has value. You can't get that online.
We have a great product, a great claim service, and it's a real value buy.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
Welcome back to Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. The Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. For the best play-by-play man in the business, call the guy sitting right next to me, the voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold. How are you, my man?
I am well. You're too kind, but thank you very much.
Well, it was one of those heartbreakers on Saturday in Oxford, Mississippi, but it was one of those that, you know, I'm getting kind of tired of folks storming the field to tear down the goalpost, but I guess that's a mark of respect for playing the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I guess it's something they hadn't done in forever. Bama had won for 10 years in a row, and I guess that was only the 10th win for Ole Miss over the Tide in the history of college football. So, you know, that happens. You just, you know, you hate to lose, obviously. The thing I'm most concerned about, though, are the, you know, you can bounce back. We were just talking back there before. You can bounce back from losses.
Right.
The injuries, though, are things you can't necessarily bounce back from until those guys get healthy. And that's the thing that concerns me. You know, we are going to have to, you know, deal for a while without some very, very talented football players.
Yep, one for 8 to 10 weeks, that being Kenyon Drake. And as you and Phil discussed, obviously great offensive threat, but a big loss for special teams.
Yeah, he's involved in all the different special teams assignments, all the different units. So that's something that you just can't plug somebody right back in. You have to. But as good a runner as he is, that's also another element of his game that you have to start shoring up when he's gone.
Denzel Duvall maybe out 4 weeks. And then I think the biggest loss as we go for the next couple of games, Ryan Kelly at center.
Yeah.
It forces Bradley Bozeman in there, and I would hope that he got a ton of reps this week in practice.
I would assume he has, and, you know, it was not the smoothest transition, certainly, but he got a lot of work this week. The other part of the job of center, and I'm going to ask the coach about it a little bit later on in the show, it's not just the snapping of the football. You know, we all see the center, you know, pointing here, pointing there, shouting this, shouting that. You know, that's an acquired, learned ability. Not that he hasn't been in the games before. He has. He had come in whenever Jake Coker was playing, but you know, there's an instinctiveness that has to come with all of that, and that's part of the loss of Ryan Kelly as well.
Well, all right, we're going to talk about all that with Coach Nick Saban. He'll be joining us shortly. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Our first call of the show coming up shortly, brought to you by Alabama 811. Before you replace a mailbox or install a fence, know what's below by calling 811. Utility companies will come out, locate and mark buried lines so you'll know where to dig carefully. Call 811. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are
you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
Warm fleece on a cool day. I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
I'm a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs.
Wi-Fi everywhere.
More playgrounds.
Oh, more ice cream trucks.
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Live from Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, this is the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Also brought to you by Golden Flake, the official chip of the Crimson Tide. Your Alabama Ford dealers. Alabama Saturdays, built Ford tough. Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. And by Coke Zero. Real Coke taste, 0 calories. Now, with Coach Nick Saban, here's Tom Roberts.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. The head coach of the Crimson Tide joining us shortly. Our media guest for the evening is the voice of the Tide, Eli Gold. And Eli, we're getting a touch of life on the road with 4 out of 5 games in this stretch being played on the road in the SEC. And to me, University of Arkansas is one of those tough places to play.
Well, they're all tough to play in this league. But yes, and particularly if the weatherman is anywhere near correct. They're talking about 85% chance of rain there on Saturday, temperature in the low 50s. It's going to be a nasty day. Granted, it'll be nasty for both teams. But it's going to be, it's tough to hit the road and play in front of 72,000 folks wearing cardinal and white. Good thing is you can't tell at first blush whether they're pulling for the Tide or the Hogs. But, you know, it's going to be a tough game. Arkansas has got an offensive line that is bigger than any offensive line, not only in college, but it is bigger than any offensive line statistically in the National Football League. Now, size doesn't necessarily have to equate to ability, but they're still running the football for 317 yards a game. That's an ungodly number, so it's not going to be an easy day, no question.
No question about that. And by the way, we're at Bob's Victory Grill. You like eating here, don't you?
Oh, always do. I like all of the restaurants that Bob Baumhauer has, but this one's great. The coal-fired pizza and all else. We had some nice sandwiches and burgers today, and they're not applauding for the menu, although they should. They are applauding for the coach, who is about to join us up here on the stage.
Yep, Coach Nick Saban arriving after practice this afternoon over on campus. The head coach joining us here on stage and getting a good hand from the crowd, which wants him to know that, hey, we're glad you're here, and we look forward to seeing what's going to happen in Fayetteville on Saturday afternoon. Coach, you talked on Monday about how this team would respond to the loss. Have you seen a pretty good response this week?
Well, I think the guys have worked really hard in practice this week, and you know, the big thing that we're trying to get our players to sort of do a better job of is paying attention to detail. I mean, we just, you know, we get in these games, people talk about penalties. You know, I've been talking about penalties all year long. Nobody wanted to listen as long as we were winning. and turnovers. Nobody wanted to listen as long as we were winning. And now it's like a revelation that everybody wants to ask me about penalties and turnovers. Well, it's not a revelation, you know. I mean, whether you win or not, that's exactly what happens to your team. You know, when things go well and you win, nobody really wants to address the issues that you have and the things that you need to do to get better. And, you know, the things that are killing us is special teams and turnovers have really been an issue, you know, on our team in terms of field position, points given up off of turnovers. And we turned the ball over the last 2 times we had it in the game. So to get our players to pay attention to the little things that you need to do is the only way that we're going to improve ourselves as a team. And losing, to me, is one of the best ways to get better, to learn, because everybody's willing to respond now. What do I need to do, Coach? You know, what did we do wrong? Well, you never get these opportunities back when you lose them, so you need to do that on the front end. And you got to be mature enough to be able to do it. But the players have done a good job and worked hard this week. And we got a lot of guys banged up, you know, in the last game. And some other guys are going to get some opportunities in this game. It'll be interesting to see how they respond.
Well, sitting between you and me is the voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold. I know you agree with me. The man does a pretty good job, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking to you about Eli.
Yeah, Eli does a great job. I love Eli, man, because, you know, Eli is one of those traditions that we have at Alabama that he's the voice of the Crimson Tide. And I don't care if I'm in Georgia, Florida, wherever I go, you know, everybody associates that, you know, and it's because you do a great job, and you've done it for a long time, and I think a lot of people appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the comments. Thank you. Let me start off, as I often do when I'm invited to be on this show, with a bit of a different question. You know, when the United States, when we elect a new president, the media tends to put out a report card on the first 100 days in office for that president. Well, this Saturday will be 100 games that you have been the president of this football program, if you will. This is your 100th start.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And clearly the report card is going to be an A+. But I'm curious about your own approach when you look back at these first 99 games. Are there things you might have wanted to do differently? Are there things you're doing now that you're doing differently than when you first showed up 8 years ago?
Well, you know, Eli, I know you pride yourself in asking a great question, but I can't get the 99th game out of my mind.
I hear you.
If this one's 100, all right, because to me, you're only as good as your last game. You're only as good as your last play. And I don't feel like we did a very good job in the last game in terms of how we played, what we did. Obviously, I'm responsible for that. And, you know, I just – so – you know, it's hard for me to think about all the rest, all right? Because, you know, everything that we've tried to do this week is, you know, how can we do things better? What can we do to make things better? How can we get guys to respond better? You know, the only disability anybody has in life is what is their attitude. And, you know, a negative attitude will kill you in just about every way possible. Mm-hmm. So, you know, my questions to our team is, what are you doing to make our team better? What am I doing? What's the coaches doing? What's each player on the team doing? You know, I even asked the players this week in a team meeting, I said, put up your hand. Did anybody help you in the game? Did anybody help you in the game? I know you guys don't really understand leadership and all that. I just want to know if you got any help in the game from your teammates, any encouragement, whatever. And then put your hand up if you helped anybody. Did you help anybody? So I think the players are starting to realize that, you know, it takes a while for us to sort of get guys understanding, indoctrinated, whatever you want to call it, in the program. You know, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be good. Everybody wants to do certain things. But wanting to ain't good enough. You know, you got to dedicate yourself to doing the things that you have to do to be able to accomplish what you want to do. And it's difficult, and you have to have adversity tolerance. You got to be able to overcome adversity, you know, in the game. It's like I always say, you know, you work the cut, all right, but you got to survive the flurries, you know, too.
Sure.
All right, so, you know, we didn't do a very good job of that. And I'm really anxious to see how our team responds. this week in Arkansas, whether it's the 100th game, 1000th game, 10th game, it's the only game to me because it's the next game.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that was one of the best questions I've ever heard.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And it deserves a lot better answer.
That's
than what
all
I
right.
gave you.
That's all right. If I may follow up on one thing you mentioned, then I'll obviously defer to Tom and everything else. You talked about the injuries, and one of the storylines obviously is Kenyon Drake, who clearly is an outstanding running back. We talked on the air Saturday almost as much, if not more, about his losses on special teams. He's a key player on all of your units. How has that gap been compensated for? What you guys been working on this week?
Well, we just got to get more players to pay attention. I talked earlier about Kenyon Drake was almost on every special team.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And people really don't notice that he's one of the frontline guys on kickoff return that does one of the best jobs of dropping back and blocking his guy. He was one of the best guys on kickoff coverage.
Right.
So, you miss a guy like him in more ways than you might even realize, because people all know when he has the ball in his hands how many touchdowns he scores and how many big plays he makes. But those are the kinds of things that really make your team better. When you have guys that go in and do and play roles like that, and that's one of the things that he did extremely well. But we have to get more players. This is something that I realized, this week about special teams. I started looking at the personnel on special teams. And I said, you got to indoctrinate people to understand the process of what it takes to be successful. Well, I look out there on special teams, and we have a lot of young players out there playing on special teams that maybe they haven't been indoctrinated yet by the coaches and the other players in terms of exactly what it takes to pay attention to detail, to do little things right, to not block up a guy in the back. Guy misses a block, get the ball stripped off of us at the end of the game. We're not carrying the ball right. All those things are attention to detail things, and they have consequences. And the ones in this last game weren't real good for us because we couldn't overcome them.
All right.
So he will be missed, but we are actually putting some of our other players back on special teams that we tried to take off of special teams so that more players would have an opportunity to play, and playing against all this no-huddle stuff, the defensive players wouldn't have to play too much on special teams. We've got to put some of them back on there.
Yeah.
We've got to get better play.
All right, in the best seat in the house tonight, we have folks from Jasper, Alabama. Addie Kate Graves, Ben Humphreys, Robbie Harris, and the question at the table from Jeremy Graves. Jeremy?
How you doing, Coach?
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Before my question, I want to introduce you to your number one fan here. Can you tell him your name?
Addie Kate.
AK?
Addie Kate.
Addie Kate?
She's wanted to meet you since she could talk.
She's a pretty little thing now.
Thank you. This is a big night for her.
Yeah.
Basically, what I wanted to ask you was, I've seen you on the ESPN shows and Tom Rinaldi and showing the things you do daily during football season. I was just kind of wondering if you could take us through what a typical day for Nick Saban is from sun up to sundown during football season, because I know you're a hard worker.
Well, my first question would be which day?
Yeah.
Sunday, I'll just take you through the week, and this might take, I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version, but, Sunday I get up usually at 6:15 in the morning. If we have a late game and we get home at 1 or 2 in the morning, maybe it's a little bit later than that, but I usually watch the film of the game. We go to church at 11. Terry drops me off at 12. I work until 10 on Sunday night. And, basically on Sunday, I've already looked at the film. We go over it with the coaches. We look at special teams. We go through things we need to work on, things we did well, all that kind of stuff. And then by about 4 o'clock on Sunday, we start working on the next team. All right, so we have a book. It might be 169 pages long. And I watch one game of the other team, and then I have a film made of the scouting report as it goes through the book, 160 pages. So like on Sunday night, I watched 394 plays of Arkansas's offense. That's every formation, every play, everything that we have in the breakdown. All right, I make notes, on all that. All right, when I come in on Monday morning, I meet with the defensive coaches. I get up at 6:15. I get to the office between 7 and 7:15. Cedric meets me at the door every day. And 7:30, I meet with the defensive coaches for 1 hour. I watch special teams film for 1 hour. I meet with the special teams coaches from 9:30 to 10:30. Then I write up coverage rules for the secondary. And then I go to press conference. Then I stop in and meet the offensive coaches for a little bit just to see what they're going to do. The players come in at 1:15. We watch the film, have a team meeting, do a good, bad, and ugly, which I show 20 plays of what we did well and what we didn't do well. We watch the film with the players. We start and give the scouting report on the next team. And then we practice not long on Monday, probably an hour and 15 minutes, and we install the entire special teams game plan. On Monday night, we do the game plan for the defense. On Tuesday morning, when I come in, the first thing I do is watch offensive film. Then I meet with the offense, and then I go from 9:30 to 10:30. We talk about the game plan and what they're going to do on offense. We always have a staff meeting every day at 10:30 on days that we have practice. We put the practice plan up, what we're going to do in practice, how we're going to work in practice. And then basically from that time on, I write up things for the players, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, coaching points, whatever. Players come in at 2 o'clock. We practice till 6:30. We meet again. Then on that night, we do the game plan for third down, red area, after we watch the practice film. So that's till about 10 o'clock. So that's the way it goes, I mean, all week long. And this is the first time when I come here on Thursday, this is the first interaction with human beings I've had other than our team, all right, and players and coaches. This is it. This is like a birthday party to me.
Well, we're going to have some more human beings with questions for the coach after we take this time out. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Once in a while, a player comes along and completely changes the game.
Unbelievable catch!
It's no different when it comes to a car. A car that doesn't just change the game, but dominates it. The unrivaled 2015 Toyota Camry. Now lease a new 2015 Toyota Camry SE for $209 a month for 24 months. Toyota, let's go places. Offer valid October 1st through November 3rd, 2014. 26 away to its signing. Camry SE with selected over 350 disposition fee for qualified lessees. Excludes tax tag, registration, title, and fees. Cannot combine with other offers.
You're listening to Guy Talk live from the Sport Clips Haircuts locker room. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, boxers or briefs?
Speaking briefly, boxers. Unless you're a boxer, then I go briefs. Next caller.
I want to find my nearest Sport Clips, but I don't want to ask for directions.
Use sportclips.com. It's actually Guy approved. At Sport Clips, you'll get an awesome MVP haircut experience while watching sports on TV. Your head'll glow like a freshly mowed Major League outfield. This has been Guy Talk, brought to you by Sport Clips, where it's good to be a guy.
Be the hero of your tailgate this season. Go to eatatjax.com to place your order for the ultimate fan fuel. Get your team ready for the big game with Jack's delicious hand-breaded chicken fingers, fried chicken, sides, biscuits, and more. Jack's now a proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Now let's talk about Sport Clips. You're a guy, and when you need a haircut, you need it right now. So come on in, because at Sport Clips, you never need an appointment. Visit any of our Alabama stores and ask for the MVP service. Sport Clips, it's good to be a guy.
Bud Light and NFL fans, this is the tale of Wayne Tupperhill, the man who spent the '97 season calculating the perfect Bud Light to ice to cooler size ratio, who once knocked over a priceless marble bust to save a falling Bud Light. But there are many legends like Wayne, and Bud Light's rewarding them with experiences like an ultimate NFL weekend. Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens.
Ultimate NFL experience open to U.S. residents 21 plus. No purchase necessary. Ends 12/31/14. See upforwhatever.com for details. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Sims keeps the football. He'll roll left. He's going to carry it in himself. Wide open. Perfectly done. Touchdown, Alabama.
Eli Gold with a call of the naked bootleg by Blake Sims for Bama's first touchdown at Ole Miss. Welcome back to the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha Insurance with Bob's Victory Grill here in T-Town. And Eli, everybody else in the world followed the running back up the middle. You stayed with Blake.
I was lucky, to be very honest with you. I just happened to have a good angle on things, and on a running play, I always use my binoculars. I stare at the football. When it's a passing play, when the guy drops back, I'll drop my binoculars and look. but it was clearly a running play, and I just happened to have a good look at it, and I didn't go for the fake. Many times I have over the years.
Of course.
But that time I stayed with Blake all the way, and we ended up with a decent call and a nice touchdown for the good guys. Coach has joined us again up here on the stage. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the center spot, Ryan Kelly's injury. A lot of folks who follow football in general know that the center snaps the ball, but they also see him yelling stuff, pointing this, that, and the other. And now with Bradley Bozeman in for Ryan Kelly, what all does the center do? What is he responsible for even before snapping the football?
Well, I think that, what you're always trying to do is you're always trying to point out the mic, all right? Because whether it's a pass or a run, the 5 offensive linemen, let's say on that particular pass protection or that particular running play, they are blocking the 4 down guys in the mic. So you point out that guy. So that sort of, however they're lined up on defense, that particular guy being the mic sort of tells everybody this is who I have to block.
Okay.
All right, because you sort of, that's sort of the center and the starting point. All right, and whether it's a zone play, whether it's a gap play, all right, which for some people who played football before, a power or a counter is a gap play, or a man blocking play, which would be like a lead draw. So that's what the center usually does. Now the quarterback has to be on the same page. All right, now when we throw the ball, you got the same thing. The center's always trying to say, we got the 5 down and the mic. Mm-hmm. That tells the back who he has to block.
Okay.
All right, or if you just have 5-man protection, that's all you're blocking. We're hot off of everybody else. We're releasing 5 guys. When you're in empty, that's what you have, 5-man protection. So the quarterback knows who they're blocking. So if somebody else rushes, he has to throw the ball. He has to get rid of the ball, and the receiver's got to know it. Mm-hmm. All right, so everybody on the team has to know who we're keying off of. So if we have 6-man protection, the back's going to have, they got the 5 down in the mic. The back's got one more guy. And sometimes you can scan him from one side to the other. So both those guys have to come.
Okay.
Because he can block one of the 2. All right, so you got 5-man protection, you got 6-man protection, you got 7-man protection. So that's why what the center does sort of starts it all. All right, and then the quarterback can do the same thing, and he sort of points it so the receivers know who has to rush for me to have to break.
And Bradley is comfortable with that now, getting more
Bradley,
so?
Bradley is that. He's very bright guy, very intelligent, very smart. He understands it extremely well. Doesn't have, the same experience. And some teams make it more difficult than others. Teams that stem around a lot and play multiple fronts and get in, multiple looks up front make it really more difficult to figure out, because all that can change when 2 guys move. How you're going to block a particular play. And, Ole Miss was a little bit like that. They stemmed around, moved on defense all the time, and I think the more experience you have, the better success that you can have against teams like that.
Staying with the offensive line, let's go to our Alabama 811 first caller of the night. It's Pee Wee from Grand Bay. Roll Tide, Pee Wee.
Roll Tide.
What's up, Pee Wee? How we doing?
We're doing good, sir. How are you? You enjoying yourself this evening?
Well, I'm hanging in there, Pee Wee. I never really respond really well when things don't go well. I didn't like losing when I was 9 years old playing Little League Baseball, and I still don't like it, but, we're looking forward to the next game.
That's right, sir, absolutely. Coach, you've talked about one of the issues being the mental errors that get made. How exactly do you approach doing that? I mean, is that more of a watching film and pointing that out, or is it a combination of the reps in practice or game time, or just a combination of an all? What is the approach to that?
Well, I think that it all goes hand in hand. First of all, I think that the best thing you can do is show a player what he's doing. Like if I don't think we're practicing the way we need to practice, and I did this Friday of the bye week with the offense. I didn't think they were practicing fast. I didn't think they were running routes right. I didn't think we were doing the things that we needed to do. So I just picked 7 plays out in practice, and I say, okay, here's my point. I don't think we're doing what we're supposed to do, and now I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Is this how we're supposed to go dig out the safety? Is this how we run this route? All right, is this the effort that we need in blocking this play, whatever it is, finishing plays, finishing drives, finishing games, finishing. How about that word? All right, we get the ball down to the 30-yard line. How many times in the game? Don't finish the drive. All right, we have plays. There must be 8, 10 plays in this game. All right, if somebody would go dig its safety out and go give extra effort in blocking, a 6 or 8 yard run would be a 50-yard run. We have 229 runs this year. We only have 2 what I would call really explosive runs. All right, so that's runs over 15 yards. Well, if we're really giving the kind of effort and playing with the kind of but the best way you get that fixed is show them. Show them. Okay, that's my good, bad, ugly tape. We show them. All right, but this indoctrination thing that I talked about earlier, you can show some players, and you got to keep showing them and showing them and showing them because they don't understand how important it is to pay attention to detail. And that's typically young players. And the longer they're in the program and the more you show them, they kind of get it after a while. And they become more mature players, and then they're able to go out there and execute better because they know the importance of paying attention to detail and doing the little things right. But I think the best way to fix anything with a player, you can tell them all you want, is show them. Just keep showing them and showing them and showing them. This is what we want. This is what we're getting. We're not getting what we need. We're not getting what we want. And when everybody else sees that, I think there's peer pressure involved, which is about leadership, that helps them understand that, hey, I need to do this to satisfy my peers as well.
Our next question comes from a fan here at Bob's Victory Grill. Tell us who you are, where you're from.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Barber. I'm with Alpha Insurance from Glencoe, Alabama. And, Coach, I believe everything that Sandra Bullock says. I think she's one smart woman.
Nice.
Okay. Arkansas presents a very formidable running game with 2 extremely effective running backs and an experienced offensive line. How much of a physical challenge would this be opposed to some of the other teams we have played this year?
Well, this team is completely different, opposite, however you want to sort of categorize it, in terms of how they play. I mean, this is old-fashioned, smash-mouth, physical football. Direct runs inside and out. A lot of bunch formations where they run crack sweeps, block down on people, pull guys. And, I mean, they're going to do it and do it and do it and have great play-action passes off of it. So if guys just go up there and play the run and don't play the responsibility and don't key things right, some guy's going to pop out of the ground behind them and they're going to say, how'd that guy get there? All right, because they just faked the toss sweep and I wasn't looking at the right thing and the guy got behind me and you give up a big play. So it really takes a lot of discipline to play in games like this. But you also have to be very physical on the line of scrimmage and strike blockers up front and control the line of scrimmage. And people have to be able to hold the point. And there's going to be, where we've been playing against all spread, they're going to have all guys in a wad. And when they double team you, you better sit on the bar stool and hold the point, because if they get movement on you, the next guy's going to come around, and then there's going to be a big hole in the defense.
And they're not only just big.
You know what, sit on the bar stool? I mean, you know how to do that? You ever do that? Well, when somebody double teams you in football, that's what you do. You just sit on the bar stool right into the double team. Never heard it explained that way, right? I really would be happy if our players did not know how to do that.
Cynthia, thanks for the question. And come on up here. We've got a banner for you, a Bama tailgate banner from Banner Stadium. Check out them online at bannerstadium.com. We're at the half hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Do game day right with the latest innovations from LG. From the kitchen to the living room, LG has you covered. Come check out the latest in LG innovations at your local Best Buy or online at bestbuy.com/LG. It's all possible with LG. Of course, we're headed to Arkansas this weekend, and our friends at Total Sports Travel have packages available for the Arkansas, Tennessee, and LSU games. The Arkansas trip includes same-day charter flight direct from Birmingham with motor coach to the game. Tennessee and LSU trips feature 2-night hotel stay, plus motor coach and pregame party prior to the game. Book online at TotalSportsTravel.com or call them at 888-367-8781. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Tide fans, make University Mall part of your football weekend game plan. Avoid the campus traffic. Take the Tuscaloosa Charter Tide Ride from University Mall to Bryant-Denny and back for just $10. While you're here, enjoy great shopping, dining, the area's best selection of Bama fan gear, and special Crimson weekend savings. We're West Alabama's in-place to shop for over 30 years. That's University Mall. Roll Tide.
On game day, whether it's on the field or at the tailgate, the best rise to the top. Because when the Crimson Tide are driving to victory, there's no compromise. That's why Ford delivers available EcoBoost engine technology that offers a winning combination of power and efficiency. Just another reason why Ford is America's best-selling brand. Check out F-150, Fusion, Escape, and the all-new Expedition at your local Ford dealer. America's best-selling brand based on 2013 calendar year sales.
4 years ago, the national economy was draining hope from Alabama. Over 9% unemployment with no business growth.
There is never freedom for the breadwinner who is dependent on the government.
Governor Bentley focused on creating jobs.
We will put Alabama back to work.
Airbus has announced the opening of a new assembly plant.
Remington is announcing plans to open a large new plant in Alabama.
This is becoming standard fare, another major company announcing a move to Alabama.
Since Governor Bentley first took office, 40,000 jobs have been created. 60,000 more jobs are on their way. Unemployment is down over 20%, and the business confidence and hiring index is the highest since 2006. But the real credit goes to the hard-working men and women of Alabama.
When Alabama is at full employment, it will mean that along with a job, we have restored hope and purpose to thousands of fellow citizens.
Governor Bentley, working for Alabama. Paid for by Bentley for Governor, P.O. Box 5047, Montgomery, Alabama 36103.
Here's the handoff inside, running room, Itavius Mathers comes left, loses the ball! It's picked up by Alabama and taken in by Cyrus Jones, touchdown!
Big play for the Crimson Tide on Saturday afternoon at the University of Mississippi. Cyrus Jones getting the fumble recovery and the touchdown. Welcome back to the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha for the best agents in the business. Call Alpha. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa. And our media guest for the evening, the voice of the Tide, Eli Gold, ready to open the second half hour with a question for the coach.
Coach, you've got some great athletes on defense, and it seemed that for years, coaches across the country were putting their best athletes on defense. Maybe it's my impression, maybe it's totally wrong, but it seems that more and more coaches elsewhere are now putting their best athletes on offense, their taller guy, their better athlete. Is that accurate? Are we seeing a shift, exclusive apparently of yourself? Are we seeing a shift elsewhere to that line of thinking?
Well, I don't know if you're putting guys on offense or putting guys on defense. I think in this day and age of football, it takes a certain type of player to be able to play defense. And I just had this conversation with the recruit right when I was coming over here. I can't say who it was, but you need a more athletic guy to play defense, but he's still got to be big and physical. The specialty player on defense is getting harder and harder to implement because of offense, the no-huddle offense.
Right.
Like we used to be able to play guys like Cody when he was here. All right, Brandon Ivory's a little bit like this, who's here now. They're really, really good run players. Well, when we play against a no-huddle team, we can't hardly play them because they have to play the running plays and the passing plays and third down, because you can't play specialty players as easily as what you used to be able to. all right, because you could play a guy on first down, take him out, put a better pass rusher in on second and third down, take him out. If they made a first down, put the better run guy in. Can't do that anymore. Same thing with the pass rusher. All right, you got a guy that's just what I call a DPR, a designated pass rusher. And you're going to play that guy on third down, and he's going to make 4 or 5 plays in the game that nobody else can make because he can rush. Well, if they convert a first down, they're going to go fast. You can't take the guy out of the game.
Yeah.
So you can't put him in there to start with. So I think what's happening is everybody's looking for a little different kind of player on defense who has a lot more diversity and is not really a specialist, and there's really fewer of those kind of guys around.
I got you.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Now, and in this offense, these kinds of offenses that people run now, you have a completely different guy that you can type into different positions, including quarterback. Now, if you talk to NFL people, they don't like it because a lot of guys that play quarterback in these offenses and are very, very successful don't do a lot of things that the NFL people would like to see them do as a quarterback prospect for what they want to do in the NFL. So the game has changed, and I think that in that, the dynamics of the type of players that you need in the game has also changed. All right, so, and that's why I don't think you see a lot of really good defensive teams because, A, do they have depth? B, do they have those kind of players?
Yeah.
And then you still have to play the multiples of types of people that you have to play, just like the team we're going to play this week. If we didn't have the Brandon Averys of the world and the Ashawn Robinsons and Jaron Reed can really, and Ashawn can really do both. They can play inside when you're playing in nickel. All right, but if we didn't have those kind of guys, we'd have no chance to stop these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they would run through us like I can't tell you what I usually say. All right, but so you got to have both. Well, it's hard to recruit and have that many kind of players that can do all these different things and have these kind of roles based on the diversity of the kind of offensive teams you have to play now.
Interesting.
All right, a quick question from the Nick Saban Show blog at AL.com. Tom in Memphis asking about DeAndrew White. He thinks he has the speed and talent to help us spread the field. How about an update in terms of his availability for this Saturday's game?
Right. Well, DeAndrew White has practiced more this week. You know, he was really available for the game, but he was only able to practice one day from the Florida game all through the bye week, all through the preparation. You know, he really practiced on Wednesday before the Ole Miss game, and that was probably about it was on a pitch count, 25, 30 plays in the whole practice. And then we were hopeful that he'd be able to practice the next day, but we felt if we practiced him the next day, he wouldn't be able to play in the game at all. Well, it's my experience that guys that don't practice and can't prepare, usually have a hard time playing well in the game. And DeAndrew played some plays in the game, and he did okay in the game. Did a pretty good job, from that standpoint. But he has been able to practice all week this week, so we think he's going to be able to play more and be a more effective player because of that.
We have a bunch of fans who are with us every week here at Bob's Victory Grill. Johnny Sue is ready to take the mic with a question. She's been here every week, I think. Johnny Sue.
Coach, with the tough loss this past weekend, how do you think the team has mentally and physically gotten ready for this week?
Well, I think the first question that I asked the team after the game, and I also said it at the press conference, is how do you respond to a loss? There's a lot of things you can learn about yourself when you don't have success. Most people are more willing to change and do things a better way. I think the players, the one thing that fans have to understand about the players is nobody feels worse when we lose a game than the players. You may feel like you feel bad as a fan, all right, but these players now, just think about all that they do. They go through spring practice. They run out there in 106-degree heat all summer long. All right, they go through fall camp. All right, we practice every day. They lift weights every day. They do all these things to play in 12 games. And then where does that take you? The result of what you do in those 12 games. All right, so when they don't play their best, or when we don't have our best game, or we don't do the things that we need to do to have success in the game, there is nobody that feels worse about it than the players and the coaches. All right, so they have responded well to that. I get a little frustrated with some of our younger players who, the most difficult thing as a coach to me is when you see more in a player and you believe more in what a player can do than what he sees in himself and what he's willing and ready to do with the ability and the talent that he has. God gave people ability, but your attitude is your choice. I mean, it's a choice to be the kind of person that you want to be the kind of worker that you want to be, to take advantage of your gifts the way you want to do it. And it's a little frustrating when you have some players who are young players who you really feel like if they really understood how much better they would be. And we keep working with those guys, and they usually, come around. All right, but the older players on the team, I think, have a lot of pride. And they've really done a good job this week of providing the kind of leadership, that I think the team needs so that we can help each other get better. So, and contrary to what people think or what was said this week, we have good leadership on this team. We have good guys on this team. We have guys that work hard. Blake Sims has done a phenomenal job. Brian Kelly has done a phenomenal job with his leadership. They're positive. They're upbeat. My question about some of this stuff is, why did nobody talk about this stuff when we were winning? Why wasn't this an issue when we were winning?
You win, everything's okay, at least as fans.
Right. I mean, I guess when we played Florida and we had how many yards?
500, 600, whatever.
Yeah, and 42 points. We had no leadership in that game, and we were too conservative, and I wouldn't let the coordinator pass the ball. I mean, I have never in my life ever told an offensive coordinator, here's what I'm saying: be aggressive, win the game on offense. That's what I'm saying all the time. So that's how I think you have to play. Do we always play that way? No. And I'm going to tell you why. All right, because coaches, assistant coaches, and I love our assistant coaches. I mean, I love them. All right, so don't take this wrong. They are the most insecure people in the world. They're the most insecure people in the world. So if they think the defense is going to stop them all the time, and we've had some pretty good defenses around here, that means I don't really have to take any chances on offense as an offensive coordinator. So that's my fault? That's not my fault. I'm saying score, win the game on offense. When I was at Michigan State, this is how I learned this. It's through my experience. We lost 5 games because we never tried to win the game on offense. We always thought we could punt the ball to the other team and stop them on defense in 2 minutes. We lost 5 games doing that. That's how long it took me to learn the lesson to win the game on offense. When you got the ball, it's easier to win the game than when they have the ball.
Sure. You hear that a lot.
And it's especially so now with those other guys running to hurry up, trying to score as much as they can.
Right, and they can score fast.
Yeah.
And they can score fast. And if you look at all of Ole Miss's scores, they score more in the second half than they do in the first half. Because they run fast. People get tired. You don't play as good. You make a mistake. They keep doing different stuff until they get something to hit a play on you. So can't play like that. That's not how I want to play. It's never how I've wanted to play, and it's not how we're going to play.
Johnny Sue, come up and claim this gift card from University Mall. And by the way, if you're coming to the game next week, that's a great place to park and ride and enjoy all the shopping and great food. Let's go on the Academy Sports and Outdoors hotline to Jackson, Mississippi, where Robert's on the line. Roll Tide, Robert. How you doing?
Roll Tide. I'm doing well. It's honored to speak to you, Coach. And,
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And I live here in Mississippi. We got a lot of Bama fans over here. We're behind the team, 100% behind you. And I'm not going to waste this opportunity, since it might be the only time I have to speak to Coach Nick Saban, by playing armchair coach and telling you that we need to run the wishbone and ridiculous things like that. So I just want to make 2 quick comments, Coach. The first one is I want to personally thank you for how much you've helped me with your philosophy of coaching, which is really a philosophy of life. Your emphasis on the process of staying positive, of not fretting about the past, of not worrying about the future that you can't control, but by focusing on the moment at hand, the day at hand, the opportunity at hand. That has helped me tremendously in my own life to overcome hardships and adversities. And so I want to thank you for your book, for your leadership, everything you say. When you talk, you're always talking about attitude. And I appreciate that, Coach, because it's helped me, and I know it's helped so many other people. And the last thing I want to say is you have made us feel as fans like we are truly a part of this team. You have really made us feel like that. And I want to tell you that every true Bama fan in this country is 100% invested in this team, in this coaching staff, in our quarterback. Win or lose, we are behind you, Coach. We are behind this team. We are positive. We are not critical. We are going to be behind you. We're going to be saying roll tide, win or lose all the time, and we think we're going to have a great season. So roll tide, Coach, and thanks for letting me call in.
Nicely said.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was really, really refreshing and nice to hear. And the fans and the people who support the program are a big part of the team. I've always said that. It makes a huge difference when we all have positive energy and attitude together to try to overcome the difficulties that we have and having a good program and having a good team. And, this is as early as we've lost a game in the season since the first year I was here. All right, so how we respond to that is going to be really, really critical. And, we've got some adversity to overcome. We lost 3 really good football players in this last game. One for the season. A couple other guys will be back in a few weeks. But some other people are going to have to step up, and they're going to need everybody's support. All right, like I said, have you done anything to help? Have you done anything to be helpful? And do you feel like you're getting any help? And I think we all should feel that way, and your comments certainly made me feel that way, so thank you.
A few more questions for the coach after we take our final break. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Hey, there's my son.
Hey, Dad.
What's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Well, it's just sort of.
Hello, Dad.
Susan? Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and maybe see some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For those caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Sims loads up, looks long. O.J. Howard wide open. He's got it at the 30, down the near side, 25-20. Caught from behind, and he's down to the 17-yard line. And boy, oh boy, did he hang on to that one.
Blake Sims with one of his pass completions against the Ole Miss Rebels. Welcome back to the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Eli Gold, our media guest. Eli, Blake now 90 of 128, 264 yards a game, 8 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, he's doing a heck of a job. I mean, this has been an outstanding year, a coming out party, if you will, and And, of course, you throw to O.J. Howard like that. I mean, he just starts running over people. He gets those legs going. He's a load to bring down. It's going to be great to see how that plays in this weekend. And, again, this weekend you got the strength against strength, as we talked earlier. Bama has given up exactly one rushing touchdown all year. You understand that? One rushing touchdown against a team that is averaging 317 yards a game on the ground. So, again, you've got strength against strength at Razorback Stadium on Saturday.
All right, we've got a young fan here who wants to ask the coach a question. Tell us your name and what you want to ask the coach.
Cole.
Hey, Cole, how are you?
My favorite player is Kenyon Drake, and I want to know how he's doing.
How is Kenyon doing? It's his favorite player.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake, he came in my office today to see me, and we had a lot in common because when I was a player in college, I got the same injury that he had, where you have a broken leg, and then at the bottom of your leg, you have two bones in the bottom that tie together to tie the bones together to your ankle. The ligaments come apart, so the bones float. So they have to screw and plate the break and put the bones back together so they heal. But, this is not a really uncommon football injury, and he will not have any significant future issues or problems. It'll probably take about 8 weeks for him. 6 weeks, he'll probably be able to start walking, jogging, doing some things, and in 8 to 10 weeks, he'll probably be able to, be going full speed again. So this is something that he'll recover from. This is exactly the same thing that Derrick Henry had in spring practice, I don't know, I guess year before this past spring. And Kenyon's doing really, really well. I think he's got a really positive attitude about it. He said he's taking it one day at a time. He's working his rehab and doing really well. I met with Denzel Duval today, who is going to be out for probably 3 or 4 weeks, also had ankle surgery. He didn't have a break. He just had the ligament part. So they just had to put the ligaments, hold the bones together so the ligaments would heal. And Ryan Kelly has a sprained knee similar to what he had a year ago where he missed a couple games, and he's doing well. He's doing very well too. So
good to hear.
I'm happy that you asked the question because I really like it that people take interest, in players even when they're not going to be able to play. So I appreciate that, buddy.
Thanks, Colt. All right, Eli, thank you for being with us tonight.
My pleasure. This hour has flown right by.
It certainly has. And, Coach, you have the final word, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
I think that I didn't talk about this before, but, excuses versus decisions. A lot of times we make excuses when things don't go the way we want them to go. I didn't have success because of this. My marriage failed because of that. I'm not happy because of this. All right? And then you make decisions and you say, I'm going to be a champion. Just make a decision. And then you make a commitment to it and you dedicate yourself to it and you do everything that you have to do to, be successful. And, that's what we've challenged our team to do, is to make a decision about what they want to accomplish, understand that they will dictate and determine the future of the team and their future by what they do. And I think this is a good way for all of us, to look at our lives, but also all of us to look at this season and this game. This is going to be a very, very challenging game. Arkansas has a much, much better team than anybody remembers. The quarterback's a 3-year starter. They've got 2 really, really good running backs. Their offensive line is really, really good. They're one of the most productive offensive teams in our conference. All right, so this is going to be a real challenge for us defensively. And we're going to have to do a great job of controlling the ball on offense because if you look at the speedball teams that Arkansas's played, all right, those teams didn't run very many plays because Arkansas had the ball all the time. And they're not no huddle, but they time of possession you, and they don't give you a lot of opportunities. So when you get them on offense, you're going to have to take advantage of it. But I really do appreciate the support, and I think it's really, really important. Most important now, right now, for everybody out there to really be supportive and positive about our team and support them in this game this week, because this is a big turning point game for this team to get back on track, get confidence in what they're doing, so that we can have the kind of football team and become the kind of team we're capable of.
Coach, thanks for being with us. We'll see you in Fayetteville.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Coach.
We're going to come back, wrap things up in a moment. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
It's me, your heart. High blood pressure is serious, and if you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away, you're wrong. I can quit whenever I want, but I like my job. Just treat me better. Maybe we can do some exercise on occasion? After all, we're in this together.
Don't let your heart quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
This year, firefighters will battle thousands of wildfires around the country in hopes of containing them. But a single ember that escapes can travel more than 1 mile, where it can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where the ember will land, only what happens when it does. Prepare, protect, prevail. Get fire adapted. Learn simple steps you could take now to reduce wildfire damage later at fireadapted.org. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Learn more at fireadapted.org.
I'm in the car next to you on the highway. I sit in front of you on the bus. I'm 1 out of every 6 Americans, and I'm struggling with hunger. This isn't an uncontrollable epidemic. There's enough food in this country to feed every hungry person. Please, visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for those around you, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, parents of children with asthma, here's another hit from the Breathe Easies.
Come on and clean up the mold. Whoa. Clean up the mold. Whoa. Mold can trigger asthma in kids young and old. Come on and clean up the mold. Whoa. Clean up the mold in your house. Whoa.
This song may be fun, but childhood asthma is not. Preventing asthma attacks can be as simple as cleaning up the mold and mildew in your house. For more Breathe Easy tips to help stop asthma attacks, go to noattacks.org, brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Tide fans, when you're getting ready for this week's game, stock up on Golden Flake. Pick up your favorite bag of Golden Flake potato chips, Tostados, or cheese puffs, and you'll be ready to tailgate like a true Tide fan. Golden Flake, the favorite chip of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The best choice you can make is a big bag of Golden
Flake. The Learfield Sports Directors Cup honors the nation's best overall collegiate athletic program in each division, men's and women's sports. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics, noting the remarkable efforts of student athletes and their institutions. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook. Find us in USA Today, online, and on Twitter at LS Directors Cup. Over 2 decades of excellence, the Learfield Sports Directors Cup.
Well, that does it for this edition of Hey Coach of the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. We're at Bob's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa, and something's cooking at Baumhauer's. To sum it up in one word, it's fresh. None of their meats or vegetables have ever seen the inside of a freezer, and this is a great place to watch an Alabama game, or any other for that matter. Crimson Tide soccer, by the way, trailing LSU 2-1 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the match down at Baton Rouge. Well, we hope you'll join us on Saturday at 2 o'clock for Alabama at the University of Arkansas. Our thanks to Jerry and Jan back in the studio, to Tom Stipe, our producer engineer here on site. Most of all, we thank all of you for joining us on this Thursday evening for Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show. And until we talk to you at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon from Fayetteville, roll Tide, everybody.
Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. This has been Hey Coach, presented by Alpha. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Also brought to you by Coke Zero. Real Coke taste, 0 calories. Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. Your Alabama Ford dealers. Alabama Saturdays.